guys, welcome back to my new bass channel called The Basics of Playing Bass. Yesterday I did a quick little 12-minute lesson on getting started, geared mainly for people who are just beginning to play bass, who have really never played before but are really interested in picking up the instrument and basically saying, where do I start? And on that one we went through just basic ways, and I'll try not to keep using the word basic, since that's the title of my lesson. It's basic. I almost did it again. This is where we get started knowing what to do with our left and right hand. Where do we place them? How do we start functioning? And you can check that out on YouTube. And this one, we're going to go a little farther to the next step, which is learning how to just play one finger per fret, moving up the fingerboard and back down, and then moving in a vertical octave, 1/4 up the fingerboard and down, to get your hands used to different shapes and just using our index finger to pluck. And basically we want to focus on getting a good tone. Again, remember from the video yesterday is you want your hand to be in this position. You don't want it up here, down here, just slightly against the back of the neck, and get a good cup, the way you're holding your hand, like you're holding in a cupped position basically. And just sliding up the finger, the neck and the fingerboard, and your hand in a kind of spread out but loose, not tight. And you're basically just going to, I did it again basically. Okay, so what you're going to do is, first finger is going to be on the first fret, next to the first fret, and you're just going to go up slowly, chromatically, which is one fret at a time, hitting every single fret. We're not concerned with scales, arpeggios, or anything like that, or even understanding or knowing the names of the notes. This is just, again, to facilitate playing the bass where you can actually function. I've noticed with past students who are just beginning, they don't have an understanding of good technique or how to place their fingers properly. And as they progress, it becomes harder, all kinds of pains in the wrist because just bad technique could injure tendons and muscles. And then you have to go back and help them unlearn all the bad habits to get them to do it properly where it's going to sound better and you're going to have more accuracy, more speed, and not have the danger of injuring your tendons and muscles. So we want to start from the get-go having proper technique. So what we're going to do is, here's the first exercise, and just watch closely here. It's just all the way. We're going to go all the way when you practice, all the way to the end of your fingerboard. And then once you go all the way up, you're going to come back down. Okay? And then the next string, same thing. Same thing, back down. What you want to focus on is, after you've done the first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to shift. You're going to go from the 4th finger here, and you're going to shift to the 5th fret with the first finger. So it's going to be, when you hit that 4th, shift. And you can practice that by going back and forth on the 4th and 1st finger. And it seems easy, and it seems an easy enough concept, and it basically is, but you'd be surprised. It takes a little time to get clear and get clean shifting. So you want that back and forth for the shifts. And you want it, and just a little, you're going to hear a little, just a little bit of that I guess you would call it string screech, whatever you'd want to call it, but it slow, always slow. I'm going a little faster than I should, but you want to take it and then continue up. There's that shift again. You got 4, 1, 4, 1. And then back down, it's the same thing, except you're going 1, 4. So it would be, start here at the 12th fret. There's that shift from 1 to 4. And usually in the context of a song, or even if you're playing solo, people aren't really going to hear that little, I mean, it could happen so fast. And of course, in the context of playing in a band, you're not going to hear that. But you still want that to be as clean as possible, making those shifts. And you'll do it on all 4 strings, starting on the 1st fret, work your way all the way to the end, and then all the way back down. And what that'll do too is it will give you confidence on your whole fingerboard. So, again, a lot of people when they're starting out, they focus just down here. Sometimes it seems this is easy to play down here, and up here it gets, ooh, this is the danger zone. It's like, I don't know the notes up here, or whatever. This will give you the confidence to play the entire fingerboard, to see it as really either 2 sections, one here, and then from the 12th fret to the end. So basically you've got open E to E, that's 1 octave, and you've got E again, which is just repeating this open E an octave higher, and playing to your highest note up here. So you can divide the fingerboard into 2 sections that way. Or see it as just all one piece. Either way, whatever works best for you. But it gives you that confidence that you've been down here. You've been playing down at this part of the fingerboard, so you're not, it doesn't intimidate you anymore. Also, this exercise is going to strengthen your hands, because if you're new to playing bass, and that's what this lesson is designed for, if you're brand new to it, your hands and your fingers are not going to have the strength or the endurance right away. Even if you've played guitar, a lot of guys, because guitar strings are thinner, it's a lighter gauge, it's not as physically demanding as a bass is. And if you've never played, it's like exercising for the first time, lifting weights. You've got to get used to it. Your muscles have to get used to that new thing you're doing. So this will strengthen your hands. It'll start helping you to gain endurance. And the pinky is usually our weakest finger on bass. And I've had students who were pretty good players, but that pinky always gave them a problem, and they never, really, I almost said basically again. They never really focused on developing strength. So these exercises, going back and forth, and these shifts will help develop the strength in all your fingers, and your pinky especially. And another exercise we're going to do is now more of a vertical one. You're just going to be using your 1st and your 4th finger. And with these, you're just going to be doing octaves. So you're going to be using the E string and your D string. And basically, I did it again. I'm sorry. Eventually, I'll try to stop saying basically. Okay, so what you're going to do is, you're going to hit that F, your 1st fretted note, then the octave, and then go up chromatically. And take that all the way to the end, and then back down. So you've got that, and what that does is that strengthens your hand, gets your hand and your thinking in a vertical way on the bass. And again, you're strengthening and developing muscles in here. You're developing strength in these 2 fingers, the index and your pinky. And as a bass player, you're going to do a lot of movement that requires that kind of playing, so you want to be building that. But that's an exercise to start with, again, to get functioning on the instrument. And then you're going to do the same thing on the A and G string. Same thing. And when you're doing this exercise, keep in mind, I don't know if you can see it well here, but you're just lifting these fingers up enough to get to the next note. You don't want your, I'm going to exaggerate for a second. What you're doing is this. But you don't want your hands coming out that far. You just want to be where they're just barely coming off the strings. So you're just lifting enough to shift. And it's the same concept as this. The 4-1 shift or 1-4, except you're just taking it down, lifting just enough to get to the next note, because you want economy of motion. You want your hands moving as little as possible. You don't want them to be all over the place. They just want to be moving where it looks like you're barely moving your hands. That saves energy, time, and also overusing your muscles when you don't have to. And with the right hand, again, we're just going to be using the index finger. And just, again, basic pluck. Let's see if you can see this. Try to turn this way. And what I do is I use my thumb as a drag over the strings, so it's just barely touching the strings as a way of muting any strings keeps them from ringing. So when I'm plucking, I'm going to use that to keep the strings. So like, for example, if I'm playing this, if you just watch my thumb on my right hand, it's just following the strings down. It's following my hand, and it's muting any strings that are below it or above it, depending on which way I'm going. And it's a good technique. You don't have to do that. A lot of people like keeping their thumb up here when they're playing. Some up here. Some, like myself, drag it, which I find it much easier to just keep control and keep strings from ringing, the open strings that I'm not playing. And we'll eventually get into 2-finger and 3-finger playing, but we want to focus just on the index now, the main finger you're going to use. And with this and yesterday's lesson, I think that will give you enough to get you started, to get you, get your faculty on the instrument so you can function. And then from there, start thinking about music and scales, arpeggios, playing songs. You want to first be able to function. And just in my experience, like I say, in the past I've seen lots of students who never really spent the time to take care of that, and they get stuck, and they can't get beyond a certain point as a player because their hand positions are bad, their technique is bad, and their hands tire out easier. They get pain in their wrist, pain in their shoulder. And these are ways to curb that and to just give you the ability to move about the fingerboard like you need to. So anyway, I hope that helps. And if you have any comments, any questions, criticisms, whatever, please let me know, and just like my page and give me a shout out and let me know what you think. And I hope this helps you guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.